This is The Gist, the essential podcast for the discerning listener. Welcome to The Gist. It is Sunday, July 12th, 2026. I'm John.
And I'm Mary. We are your smart friends on the go. We skip the heavy jargon and get right to the forces shaping our world.
Let's start with the gist view. Today we are looking at a massive shift in how society talks about mental health.
Right. A new study by researchers Christoph Henking and Baumberg Geiger shows a huge spike in young people in the United Kingdom reporting mental illness. But here is the catch. The number of people saying these problems actually limit their daily lives, that remains completely flat.
The Financial Times reports the exact same trend in the United States. Over half of young Americans now classify normal mood swings as mental illness. That is up from just 20% 15 years ago.
So what is driving this? It comes down to incentives. Adopting a clinical label for temporary stress often secures immediate social accommodation. You get a deadline extension at school or a break at work.
Exactly. But let's look at where the resources flow. Healthcare budgets are finite. When the pool of patients artificially inflates, the money gets stretched thin.
It diverts scarce clinical time away from people suffering from severe, debilitating illnesses. The upside is that catching distress early can prevent worse problems down the line, but right now, the system's struggling to balance that load.
Moving to the global overview, let's talk money and inflation. Kevin Warsh, the new chairman of the United States Federal Reserve, heads to Congress this July to talk about inflation.
The Fed is the central bank of the United States. They control interest rates. Recently, they stopped giving forward guidance. That is a financial term for telling Wall Street exactly what they plan to do next.
Why the change? Because traditional money tools are hitting a physical wall. You can raise interest rates all you want, but a central bank cannot print raw materials. If a factory doesn't have parts, it cannot make products.
Physical supply bottlenecks bake structural inflation into the economy, and no interest rate maneuver can fix a broken supply chain.
Which brings us to Venezuela. Back in June, twin earthquakes killed over 3,500 people. The country's centralized hospital system was already collapsing. It simply could not cope.
So who stepped in? Foreign medical volunteers. They are bypassing the struggling central government entirely to treat patients.
It is a clear example of resource flow. When centralized control becomes a bottleneck, decentralized, on-the-ground teams become the only effective way to deliver disaster relief.
Let's cross over to the European perspective. That supply chain problem we mentioned, it is hitting Europe hard right now.
The IFO Institute is a major economic research group based in Munich. That is up from May.
The ongoing conflict in the Middle East, specifically in the Strait of Hormuz, is a big driver here. Ships cannot get through.
That causes a chain reaction. Auto factories suffer immediate output drops. The prices for timber and pharmaceuticals shoot up.
The immediate response is reshoring, bringing production back home to Europe. That raises operating costs right now, but the long-term incentive is to build a manufacturing base that won't break every time there is a geopolitical shock.
Meanwhile, in Spain, extreme weather is rewriting the rulebook for emergency responders. Forest fires in the Almería province have burned over 6,600 hectares. Tragically, 12 people have died.
What stands out here is the tactic. Andalusian authorities had to wait to launch their main attack on the fires. They could not move until the temperature dropped and humidity rose.
It is a stark reality. Severe climate metrics now dictate exactly when and where emergency infrastructure can deploy. Mother Nature holds the veto power over our resources.
Finally, a look at the United Kingdom. They just launched a national dementia registry. The goal is to aggregate patient data to speed up clinical trials.
Let's follow the incentives. By pooling all this public health data, the United Kingdom is turning its demographics into a highly valuable asset.
Right. They are using this massive data pool as bait to attract private capital from big pharmaceutical companies. Public data brings in private money, and ideally, patients get faster access to new treatments.
And that brings us to the end of today's show. If we look at today's temperature, we are seeing a world furiously adjusting its boundaries.
From redefining what counts as a clinical illness to redrawing supply lines away from conflict zones, systems are adapting under intense pressure. We are trading short-term costs for long-term resilience, whether that is in healthcare, disaster relief, or manufacturing.
If you enjoyed having us as your smart friends on the go today, we would love to keep the conversation going.
Absolutely. You can get the gist delivered to your inbox for free every single day. Just click the subscribe link in our show notes. It is totally free and it keeps you ahead of the curve.
Thanks for listening. We will catch you tomorrow.
The Gist, News Digest, and podcast are entirely written and produced by artificial intelligence. The Gist is out 3 times a day, every day, providing you with a liberal perspective on what to expect next. For more information and donations, visit thegist.online. Thank you for listening.